COG, hold the phone.
Namaste, sentient being, citizen of Gotham. It is Tuesday, August 18th, 2015. Thank you for stopping by and tuning in. I do appreciate it. So we have some strange goings on, as Gene Wilder said, as Dr. Frankenstein and young Frankenstein. We have this Tianjin explosion, virtual war with China, which will involve Russia. So that will start a third world war, or World War III, depending upon how you want to look at it. So I have some videos that are strange. So we'll go over a couple videos. Hopefully this won't be too long of a video for all of you, but interesting findings. First of all, just quick gematria. I'm not going to do a gematria post on this because it would just be too much, make too much of my time. But anyway, you have a 23 and a 35. And this 50-something keeps changing, but these are the two numbers that I focused on because this one changes from the blast. But anyway, 23, right? 23 means duality, charisma, communication, and society in numerology. Furthermore, it's at the moment of his assassination, Caesar was stabbed 23 times. The circulation of blood through the human body takes 23 seconds. The number of articulation in the human arm is also 23. There are 23 axioms of geometry of the Euclid. Furthermore, there are 23 days of the physical cycle and the biorhythm, and the ovale, whatever you want to pronounce it as, and the spermatozoa are composed both of 23 chromosomes. Additionally, the number 23 is used 14 times in the Bible, and the word leprous, dragon, and blasphemy are also used 23 times in the Bible. Additionally, 35 is, believe it or not, like China, Ebola, Nassau, image, and goal in simple gematria. So in simple gematria, when you sum the word China, it equals 35, as well as you have Nassau, and this whole thing is supposed to be energy weapon based, meaning this explosion that happened. So this video is a little suspect. Also, you have camera 22. 22 is the master builder number in numerology, signifies precision and balance. Looks like a real explosion, but it's a little bit weird because he does stop there, the gentleman, and then he starts fidgeting with his phone, but maybe the phone rang and that's why he's answering it, or he had to text someone, or he has to call someone. So this could be very real. However, I just thought when I initially saw it the first few times, it was kind of suspect, and then really the commentary on the people watching, which is another major thing. And I have two other videos of the big explosion everyone saw. And the commentating just reminds me of the 9/11 when the explosion, people going, oh shit, oh my God, did you see that plane? Whoa. It's just over the top, basically narration or sound bites, whatever you want to call it, which leads me to believe it was suspect. Not that this explosion didn't happen. I believe it was an energy weapon, which I'll buttress in a moment. However, and that this is supposed to be, or this was done for the start of the Third World War. So this will be considered a false flag, because if we go into war with China, then this will become a false flag. That is a provocation of war. Unfortunately, people use that term wrongly a lot. I'm not picking on anyone. I'm just making a comment. But just watching this video, it seems a little strange. I mean, the windows or the doors cave in. It seems to hit him in the head, and then everything gets white, and then the screen kind of goes out or whatever, and you can't really see anything. But just the commentating of the two people, because it seems like two people are talking, of Tianjin, whoever they were, security people or whatever. It just seems rather strange. It's a short video, so let's watch it for the moment. Turn it up.
到了，丢一下。哎呦！
Little strange, right? Just a little strange. Again, not saying it didn't happen. It's a little bit strange. Then we have the strange commentating on this as well, which is a bit strange. I don't know. Of course, they have to always do this blurred outside. Some people said, oh, that's an iPhone. It blurs out the thing. I don't know. I have an iPhone 6 and I've never seen that happen. Maybe I'm retarded and I don't know this feature. I wouldn't use this feature unless I'm trying to make someone focus on here. And then you see the explosion is kind of superimposed or whatever. It's big on this. It's just very strange. I don't agree with that. People can argue with me to the death. I don't care. I think this is a very strange thing to do. I know about psychology. I took 6 years of it. I'm not a master in it, but I took 6 years. It was my double major. Anyway, so having said that, I say this is done purposely so your eyes focus on here. Obviously, right? You don't need any degrees or to go to college to know that. It's just common sense. I'm just saying that because people are like, hey, it's iPhone, man. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, okay, great. Then don't watch my video. Anyway.
Whoa! I'm videoing it.
Why is she laughing?
I think that might be a gas station or something.
Why is she laughing?
Yes. Whoa! Oh!
Right.
What the? No!
Right.
No, baby! No!
Commentating is over the top. Why was she laughing? Oh, I think it's a gas explosion. It's like children. It's like the duping delight where they can't keep their giddiness to themselves because they know this is bullshit. I believe this is a real explosion. What I think happened is this is the energy weapon. I think the little fire before was pyrotechnics or whatever you want to call it. And then the energy weapon kicked in or was shot down on from space if they have that or wherever they do it. I really don't believe in satellites, but that's a whole nother argument. Doesn't mean they have to. They could have been done from a plane, meaning a drone plane. I don't mean one of these little tiny 1-foot drones. I mean an entire big ass plane flying around. It could also be done from a helicopter. It was probably done from a plane that shot an energy beam. And also, I'd also argue that why do you need a plane or have to be a satellite? It could have been done from some other remote area where they can concentrate the energy weapon on this area and then blow it up or do whatever they're doing to it, much like 9/11. Although I do believe that 9/11, I'll get into that in a moment, was mostly a nuclear detonation, but people argue that there isn't no such thing as nuclear weapons, and there's an argument for that. I have an open mind. One thing is there's at least 2 or 4 reactors, but at least 2 reactors in Fukushima that have been leaking for 4 years now. I mean, you could argue or ask the question, how do, nuclear devices or whatever, how do they not leak? I mean, how do they leak for 4 years and not melt down? I mean, it makes no sense if it's a reactor's melting down, and especially with the couple minor earthquakes they had. They just had one that was 7 point something, almost a little bit under the one that supposedly caused a tsunami from India that devastated their country. How is it not melted down or had the whole thing just implode upon itself? So you have that question there. And also 9/11, they used demolitions. It was more for the other 5 towers that they brought, the other 5 buildings, that they brought down. They did have demolitions in the first 2 towers, meaning Trade Center 1 and 2. However, that was, in my opinion, for disinformation to get people to focus on that rather than what really happened, which I believe was more than likely a nuclear detonation underground, because whether you detonate something underground or on the ground or above the ground, you have 3 different outcomes of the nuclear explosion. And I also believe energy weapons. I think they did a double whammy, so to speak, or a triple whammy with the demolitions, and they did that purposefully to see how much they could pull off and to see what, just to test the effects of it or the effectiveness of that.
Are we dangerous here?
Yeah, we're dangerous.
Dangerous. What is that?
Oh my God!
Now, does that sound real? I mean, this is like the same thing with 9/11, over the top commentary. Most people would be like, oh shit, and just get silent and watch this. I watched this, I was silent. I was like, oh my God, oh my Lord, did you see that? Oh my God. I mean, it's just insane narration.
Are you filming?
Yes, I'm filming.
Are you filming? She sees him with the camera and she asks him, or the telephone, and say, are you filming? That's a dead giveaway that this is all narration. This is all scripted. That's like someone like the people that called from the plane, up in the plane from cell phones, which you couldn't call people from, and say, hi, this is John Doe, your son. I'm 26, 6'2", 200 pounds. You know, your son. Yeah, I'm calling from the airplane. I mean, and people bought that. It's the same scenario. They just do the same thing over and over again. And she's kind of laughing.
I think we are dangerous.
That was probably the second pulse of the energy weapon that triggered the huge explosion.
Let's go. Let's go down.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's go down and
Let's
look at
go.
it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Come on.
This narration is absolutely retarded. Okay, I have to be cursing the whole time, right? That was like 30 straight seconds of cursing. I'm exaggerating, but it's a lot of cursing. Yeah, so anyway, that's the first narration of malarkey. Don't believe any of it, meaning that narration was completely staged. Again, we have the blacked out on the sides.
Station or something.
That's a guess. Whoa! Oh,
Oh, it's the same thing.
what the?
It appears to be the same video. I thought it was a different video.
No! What? No, baby! No!
Are we dangerous here?
Yeah, we're dangerous.
Now, is it me? I thought it was the same video, but it's not. Is it me, or is the narration of the people the same? It's the same people doing two different narrations for this, right? Unless this is a extended cut, but this was the same people talking in the video I just showed you. That's why I said, oh, I thought it was originally different. Then I'm like, oh, it's the same. And then listening to it, they're saying different stuff. So they did two versions of watching this and pretending to videotape it. So it's just actors or people, sellouts, whatever you want to call them, that are sitting watching this and then either going off the cuff saying what they're saying or reading a very bad script.
Oh my God! Oh yeah!
Are you filming?
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
see? She
filming.
just asked him.
Wow! Wow! I think we are dangerous.
So from off of that narration, it seems like they spliced the two because the other one had more narration in the beginning and then this one was shorter and they cut to the part of are you filming? So that was the exact same thing. So that was probably two different splices of the same narration.
Let's go!
Yeah, let's go. That doesn't even look real. Sorry, this explosion. It looks like a nuclear explosion, but doesn't even look real from this camera. You could tell by that explosion that was not real. It didn't just happen like that. Why would people be screaming like that? It makes absolutely no sense. Anyway, so we have some aerial footage of the devastation, what's happening, or what had happened. Just like 9/11, all these burnt out cars and stuff. This is a lot more than just a bomb going off or an explosion. Also, why is this building standing, right? Looks like a brick building. Why is that standing? If that was steel structure, I could understand. It's not steel structure building. Looks like a brick building. Should be devastated, right? All these cars are all burnt, much like 9/11. Same thing, 9/11. All the same thing. Charred, whatever those are. Charred. Funny how this isn't messed up. These aren't messed up. Just like 9/11, which is going to go into something else I'm going to talk about in a minute. Of how certain things were affected and then other things 5 feet away weren't. Just like 9/11, there were a row of cars and there'd be a car that was half burnt and next to it there'd be a car that was perfectly fine. And also cars that had completely gone disintegrated tires and had handles completely removed from the cars. Some of them had windshields that were just gone, lights that were gone, and that could be one part of the car, and then the back part of the car was all brand new and perfect. It made no sense. That's an energy weapon. That's not an explosion that caused that. So you have all this going on, right? All this crazy stuff. Look at the huge area that this devastated, right? All of this was burnt out. Look at all the devastation. Look how huge this area is. Comes to here, comes all the way down, probably all the way back out here, which you can't see, and it comes back. All of this is charred stuff. The building is not knocked over. This one's still standing. This one's not knocked over. This one's still standing. I guess the explosion was right around here or in this area. Why would this building be standing? Why would this building be standing? You would also presume that these two buildings would have collapsed. These are not steel reinforced structures like 9/11. That jet fuel brought down. Oh, it's funny how people believe such malarkey. Jet fuel brought down 2 steel reinforced structures. And 4 people in a cave almost brought down America. Yeah, okay. Makes sense. Another drone aerial footage. Charred cars. See some of the tires are completely gone. A lot of these, see how all the tires are gone? It's just rims. All the tires are melted away. All the glass, as you saw, was blown out of the cars. Or actually, it wasn't blown out; they just disappeared. You didn't see any. You didn't see any glass on there. Watch, see, right? See, you don't see pieces of glass here. Like just like 9/11, all the windows are gone, blown out. Door handles are missing. Why would door handles be missing? All the tires are melted, just like I was saying, right? I did just say that. Same thing as 9/11. That's an energy weapon. That's not a nuclear device that did that. Nuclear device wouldn't do that. It wouldn't just make all the windows disappear and make handles on cars disappear and make the tires completely disappear. Insane. So let's see. So this is a nuclear physicist. His name is Dmitry Kazov, nuclear physicist. He was the one in this video talking about how 9/11 was a thermonuclear detonation. It was 2 bombs below the Earth. You don't have to believe in it. I think he's right in it, but there is an argument, like I said, for no nuclear weapons because, again, how do 2 or 3 or 4 reactors from Fukushima melt for 4 years and not completely melt down or fail? But anyway, who knows? Also, a lot of the footage of the old nuclear bombs blowing up and devastating houses and stuff were very suspect as well. So who knows? I particularly believe there is, but I'm not saying 100%. I'm open-minded to think beyond that. I realize there is no box, unlike most people. So anyway, I was talking about the cars being affected with tires missing and handles disappearing and windshields completely disappearing and some parts of the inner car where the whole inside was gone, steering wheel gone, seats gone. Just like you basically, if you went in there and did an autopsy and took all these things out and just left the frame of the car, which we saw. So this guy is a Dr. Hutchinson. He was talking and they created this thing called the Hutchinson effect, which I'll get into in a moment. This is about it as well. Dr. Judy was talking about energy weapons. I'll put her link in. You could find part 2 if you go to part 1. It's right there. And the Hutchinson effect is talking about energy and so forth and so on. And here it says, it is said to cause objects to defy gravity, cause metal to spontaneously fracture, I read that wrong, excuse me, cause dissimilar materials to fuse, such as metal and wood, and other strange phenomena. Hutchinson has captured the effect on video many times and claims to demonstrate it for scientists from U.S. Army intelligence, but the claims are mirrored in doubt because the effect is not reproducible even by the discoverer himself. He was a fan of Tesla. As you can see, Tesla was the one who brought us free energy, which J.P. Morgan ended up taking. Actually, he burnt down his entire laboratory after stealing all of his findings and all of his scientific papers and gave them to Thomas Edison, who was a front, who was a bullshit artist, and they used him to pretend that he discovered all these things and DC currents and all that, which was a lie. Tesla was the one who found that. We could have had free energy from the 20s or 30s, but J.P. Morgan, the bloodline, probably reptilian that he is, decided to take over and destroy Tesla's lab, steal all his notes, give them to Con Edison so that he could charge people for energy. There's enough free energy. We don't need to be paying for energy. We don't need to be paying for air. We don't need to be paying for gas. We don't need to be paying for food. All of this is off of capitalism, and people think that's a good thing, but I digress too much. So I'll put this link in. You might want to know about it. But basically, it's just talking about how energy can move things and manipulate things and also change their, basically, the alchemy, and that has to go into what I was talking about, the stuff disappearing on the cars, which makes absolutely no sense at all. There's also, where is it, this? Also, this video is they found someone in the rubble. I think this is complete malarkey because of the fact that the person should have been killed, right? I mean, but they're not. They're just lying there. They get up. They're not severely injured. You don't see a lot of blood. Just lying there. They pick the person up. They carry the person out. I think this is all staged. Little cut on the knee. I don't know. Does that look like someone who's in that type of blast? Look at the devastation around him. Everything is devastated, but yet somehow he's survived. Now, granted, there are times when miracles can happen. I don't believe this is a miracle happening. I think this is all staged to try, just like they did. Do you remember when India had or Nepal, when it had the devastating earthquake, and they pulled out a baby after 5 days, and they pulled out some other guy after 3 days, and they pulled out some woman after 6 days? It does happen, but I think these are all psyops staged events for the reason of trying to show, hey, look what happened. We saved one person, and this person survived, and it brings that false hope and so forth and so on. It's psychology. It's tugging on your heartstrings. Anyway, getting into this, Kafka Winston World. Shout out to Kafka Winston World. She covered this article that was in Natural News, which I'll show you in a second. I just want to give her a shout out for finding this. And this is the article written by Mike Adams. Basically, this title says it all. It's talking about a Tianjin explosion carried out by Pentagon space weapon in retaliation for yuan currency devaluation. Military helicopters now patrolling Beijing. So now we have helicopters as probably as well as jets flying over Beijing because Tianjin didn't want to, meaning China, didn't want to buy into the dollar system, and that devalued their own money, or something to that effect. And what USA did, or United States of America did, was punish them for it. So they used an energy weapon and devastated their small little city as retaliation for what they did. This article will be in the description box. Those are the helicopters. I'm sure there are jets flying around as well. Look how big this area was devastated. And then you can see how nicely everything here is. Nothing's affected over here. Nothing's affected over there. There was residential buildings over here. He's talking about, they call the Rod of God. It's a special weapon, kinetic energy, which is what this was about, that happened, or what they used for it. I would read the article. It's very good. I guess this is supposed to be in space. I, again, don't believe it's in space. I think this is something that they can do from the ground, or at the very, I really believe it's from the ground. I mean, you have CERN, you have HARP. Those are from the ground. But anyway, and if there are satellites, whatever pictures they show us from space are never real, which means they're hiding all the stuff that's in space. Now, the other funny thing is in The Guardian, now they have a suspect who is saying something as a device thrown from a bridge. Again, he's got a big-ass backpack, just like the Boston bombings, which so many CIA operatives were carrying that day, and they were walking around with them. They were all over the place that day. So now they have the supposed person dropping his bag off or doing something goofy with that. Makes no sense. A couple things about gematria that stand out. 22. 22, again, as I said, is the master builder number. It's precision and balance, which is about their plans, this whole thing. You have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 means conspiracy in simple gematria. Isn't that funny? And if you do the verse of it, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1 is like Manhattan. Meet Barack Obama. Dragon's Den, which is a reference to the Draconians. Bird flu, Barack heel, Osama head, which is referring to his assassination, just like Meet Barack Obama. Genetics code, Obama flat liar, despotic, and flat earth in English gematria. So to me, the Manhattan thing is the most important thing, even though they're talking about Obama, that could have correlations to the papal's visit. He's visiting Washington on the 23rd of September. He's the 266th papal visiting on the 266th day, which is the 22nd of September. And 23rd of September is also Yom Kippur, the holiest day in Jewish lore or religion, which is about atonement, repentance. There's also the 9/28 blood moon, and he's leaving on the 27th, meaning the papal as well. When you go down in here, again, you have the number 20. Meaning stands for the souls who have the knowledge of both good and evil and must consciously make choices to attain balance in all situations, and that is in numerology. But also 20 is like death in Pythagorean. So when you sum death in Pythagorean gematria, it sums to 20. Right? Again, you have 22. Again, 7 is the sacred number in Satanic Freemasonry, means perfected man, transhumanism. You have 6,500. 65 means bald eagle, 7 today, and ego death in simple gematria. Ego death is referring to Obama. Bald ego is referring to the United States. 7 again is the reference to what we just had right here. We had 7 p.m., so you have a double reference of 7. And obviously today is referring to this craziness that happened. You have 2 and 6 equals 8. 8 in numerology refers to Satan, I think, as well. Either Saturn or Satan. They're both the same thing. But anyway, almost done. We have U.S. Security Agency pinpoints China cyber attacks. This just happened yesterday. So now there are all these cyber attacks coming from China. Isn't that interesting? A national security agency documented has revealed the massive nature of China attacks, cyber attacks against the United States, with nearly 700 intrusions in private sector and government networks. The cyber attacks were outlined on a map that pinpoints what are described by the Electronic Spy Agency as victims of Chinese cyber espionage over the past 5 years. The map was first disclosed by NBC News. The locations include Washington and the entire eastern seaboard, as well as the key areas such as Silicon Valley in California, the locations of the United States Nuclear Weapons Laboratory, the nuclear missiles and military bases. NSA detected the most attacks in California with numerous strikes. According to NBC, the map was used in a briefing by the NSA Threat Operations Center in February 2014 that sought to highlight China's focus on penetrating network operated by search engines firm, should be probably from Google, and defense contractor Lockheed Martin, as well as United States air traffic control systems, a key infrastructure target that could be used by China's military in future cyber war. China successfully used the attacks to steal massive amounts of proprietary and government data. The map indicates that the NSA has developed better attribution capabilities, easy for me to say, the ability to trace the origins of the attacks back to China. Well, I think that was all malarkey. I don't think China was attacking us. I think they tried to say that a while ago to push the war with that as well. Again, you have secret NSA map shows China cyber attacks the U.S. Bullshit, Mr. Handman. And war brews in space between China, USA, and Russia. China and Russia are allies. Russia will jump in with USA going to the Third World War with China. Again, all three of these countries, more importantly, companies. They are companies, corporations. They are not companies. They're not countries. They're all cahoots with each other. It is like I always keep saying, it's like wrestling. You have your good guys and bad guys, your faces, your heels. You always have to have a boogeyman. They are all working cahoots. They will destroy certain parts of their country because they get kickbacks and stuff. The only time someone in these countries dies is when they don't play the game the way the U.S. wants. Most of the time they do. So all these destructions and stuff are purposefully done. So this is talking about the space war now with all of them. That will be in the description box as well. Furthermore, I should have gotten this out already. Sorry that I didn't. Hopefully it won't take me too long to find it. Give me a second, please. Norse. Go to Norse. Norse is about all these cyber attacks. If it comes in, watch it not come in now. That's interesting. Okay, today would be nice. Why is it not showing news? Okay, there we go. Why is it over there? Okay, whoops. Why are we doing that? So you can see all these cyber attacks. They changed it. This stuff used to be up here, so they changed the site. So anyway, you can see China, right, all up there. This is supposedly real time and what's happening. This could all be disinformation just to make people worried. Who knows? But it's just something that goes along with these propagandist articles about saying that China is cyber attacking us left and right and trying to destroy America. I really believe all this is malarkey, mendacity. I think this is all done to create fear, so forth and so on, with all these companies and countries working together in cahoots with one another, pretending to have problems and issues with each other. So that's the problem with all of this malarkey that's going on. But anyway, very crazy stuff. As I said, what strange goings on is happening. Just wanted to provide as much information as I could. I could obviously spend days going on all this, but I think I was able to provide a good amount of information showing that this is a provocation of war, meaning that they will use this as a false flag, probably more than likely for a third world war with China. It depends, or unless they decide to drop it. They were hard and heavy with the cyber attacks from China before, and that supposedly leading to a third world war, and then that died down. But this is a big difference because now you have the energy weapon that was used as well as the explosion that happened. And that could be used for the provocation of war, in other words, a false flag, because they will probably admit, as the U.S. will probably come out and say that they did this purposefully, and then once they do, or even if they don't, China and Russia could band together and say these are our findings, and we found that USA had to do something to do with it. So this means that even if a third world war doesn't start anytime soon, what they can do with this in the next coming months or in September or between September and December, which I think things will happen, don't know what they will do is Russia and China supposedly in cahoots with the United States government will work out a false flag where China or Russia will leave a dirty bomb in the city or San Francisco or New York City or Chicago and some major cities, and that will then constitute a third world war because they'll say they attacked and we know they did and we have to go back there and it's got to be America against them, and our whole world's in danger because now they attacked us and we have to have balls and we have to show unity and all that, just like 9/11, which had the highest enlistment rates ever in the history of the Army and Navy and all that stuff, which was all the PSYOP. Anyway, thanks for stopping by and tuning in. Hopefully it was interesting. Stay well, be balanced. Namaste.